Carl, so you don't diet your birds? Like you
Like
don't
put them
make
on
them hungry?
Put them on a diet, like to lose weight?
Yeah.
No. The only time, if I have a young bird team that I'm just starting out, I've gone to straight wheat. Like if I have to use one grain, the one grain that I want to use to get birds to fly is hard red wheat or hard white wheat.
Wheat. Oh, okay.
That's the one grain. If I had to use one grain to keep birds in the air longer, I like wheat because wheat's a good pigeon grain. It should be in every feed. Pigeons need corn, wheat, safflower, milo, and peas.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, that's a good, well-balanced grain. If you want to train them, you give them candy mix. The other thing that people always ask me this, and I have to tell you, you didn't ask me, but I'll tell you.
What is it?
I'm hell-bent against peanuts. Everybody says, oh, peanuts are the greatest. You can win all these races on peanuts. My belief is peanuts make pigeons thirsty.
You don't feed peanuts.
Go take a spoonful of peanut butter and tell me what the next thing you're going to do is. You're going to look for a glass of milk or a glass of water because that shit's going to be stuck in your throat and in your mouth and everything else. If you want to make pigeons thirsty before a long race, give them peanuts. Now, nutritionally, peanuts are fine. You know, they have a lot of fat, nutrients, and all that. But to me, and I told you this, dehydration is the most important thing to winning a race. It's not the food. It's not the medicine. It's the water. Remember that. The pigeons can't be thirsty or they won't come home.
So you don't put electrolytes on the day of basketing?
I do.
You do?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Not the day of, the day before. Not the day of.
Friday?
Yeah, the day before.
Basketing.
I'll use electrolytes. I use the cheapest one on the market. I'll show it to you. I have no secrets. You get it from Jed's. I wasn't going to say anybody's name.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that the vitamin and electrolytes?
Okay, as far as vitamins. Again, I don't want to offend anybody. Okay? I'm not big on pigeon vitamins. The feed I use, bleach feed, 17% protein, has vitamins already on it. I like Winsmore vitamins. It's an old vitamin. Years ago, I like to give that one time a week just to the birds racing. I don't give the breeders I shouldn't say that. Once a month maybe I'll use a multiple vitamin for the breeders just because I feel like I should, but I don't think they really need it. They get everything they need from the food and the grid. Again, don't do too much.
You don't do red cell?
I do red cell.
You do red cell?
I do give the birds
in the water or feed?
On the feed, nothing in the water.
Okay.
Nothing in the water.
Just electrolytes on the water, that's it.
That's the only, well, sugar. Sugar and electrolytes.
Put sugar?
I put sugar in the water, yes, when they come home.
Is it honey or sugar?
No, I use regular glucose or what's it called? The grape sugar.
Oh.
Only when they come home.
Okay.
Because I want them to recover quickly. I fly my birds every week. They go from 100.
You don't leave birds that are like...
If they're hurt, I'll leave them home, but very few.
Yeah.
They have to recover. That's the whole game is, you know, if you want...
The faster you recover, right?
The faster you can fly, and the same birds that recover quickly, they go on to become the best bird in the combine because they're flying every week, they're accumulating points. You know, especially in my club. I mean, everybody flies the birds pretty much every week. You got to learn how to recover your birds. And that's important. I mean, so yeah, red cell once a week on the feed.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. It's just a tablespoon. Mix it in with the feed.
Okay.
I use some oils. I use flax oil, hemp seed oil.
Hemp seed oil, flax oil. No garlic oil. Cod liver oil. No.
No.
Just to bind, right?
Just to bind, like if I'm putting any kind of powder on the feed.
So what powder do you use?
Any kind. I'm just saying any kind of powder.
Okay.
I use. Let's see, what powder do I use cinnamon, which is a powder. I use the glucose and the grapeseed, the sugars. Those I can put on the feed. I use Winsmore vitamins. I mix those. That's a powder. So I'll use oil to
bind.
Bind, just as a binding agent, or I'll mix red cell. Can be a binding agent.
Okay.
Lemon juice could be a binding agent. Listen, if you want to give your birds lemon juice, there's nothing wrong with that. Put it on the feed. They don't like it in the water.
Really?
Oh, it takes time to get used to it.
Okay.
They'll drink it, but they got to get used to it. I mean, what is lemons? It's citric acid. And birds tend to not like acid. You know, it's like, again, we go back.
Do you use apple cider vinegar?
Not anymore. I used to years ago. I was a big apple cider vinegar. I mean, I don't see any harm in it. I don't like the smell of it myself. The birds don't like the smell of it. I watch when they go over to the water.
They smell it?
They just smell it. They put their beak. Just watch them, you know. I mean, the birds will tell you everything. They'll dip their beak. They'll take it out. They'll dip their beak. They'll take it out. Yeah. So, to me, that's telling me, put it on the feed. They'll eat the feed. If you want apple cider vinegar in the system, put it on the feed. Let the feed dry out a little bit. Don't give it to them soggy. So see, now you just learned, 30 years of...
Yep, experience right there. Yeah. The birds have to love their home.
That's the number one rule. If they're afraid to be in a loft, they're going to find someplace else to live. If they're overcrowded, they're going to find someplace else to live. Think like a bird.
Fly like a bird.
Fly like a bird. I mean, if I can give any advice that Ed Lorenz taught me, one thing he always told me is to think like a pigeon. You know, put yourself in the pigeon's mind. What do you want from me? What do you need from me? What do you expect from me?
Okay.
I mean, and it's really universal advice. It's great advice. I mean, all the champions I visited, I studied all their lofts. Everybody was looking at the birds. I was looking at the lofts. I always felt like the loft is where it starts. You know, you've got to have a healthy loft. The birds have to be happy. You need a happy loft. You know, the one thing before a big race I'm always looking for, are my birds happy?
So, another question. On the day of basketing, do you make your birds hungry so for them to come home faster
No.
the day after?
No.
No. Okay.
I do the opposite.
Make them full.
I feed them all they want.
There's no BS, right?
No BS here. No BS. They get all
That's
they
Carl
want.
Loizzi. All right.
They get all they want every day until they're full. And people might tell me, hey, you're crazy. You can't win races that way.
Check the results.
Check the results. I mean, you know, the results speak for themselves. I'm telling you the truth. I feed them. I want them to be happy. If they're hungry, they're not happy. When I'm hungry, I'm not happy. Are you happy when you're hungry?
No.
No.
I'm
Nobody
grumpy.
is. Yeah. Go without food. Have somebody take your food away for the day. And tell me if you're not a pain in the ass that night.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. You're fighting with your wife. You're
Yeah.
fighting with your kids. Why? I'm hungry, man.
Yeah.
Go out and get a big steak. Then what happens? Oh, I feel good now. You know? Look at the marathon runners. What do? They eat all they want the week before, that week during the race. They don't starve. They fill themselves up with food. Now, do I want them going to a race where they're bulging?
Mm-hmm.
No, because
So you feed early on the
Then
day
they
of
get-
basketing.
I always feed early. I give them a chance to digest it, but all they want.
No.
Because what's going to happen if they're full of food?
But-
They're going to be thirsty.
They still have
It
grits.
goes back to what?
All right.
Dehydration. If you
So-
eat a big meal, what's the first thing you're doing?
Water. So the thing is, do you make them thirsty before basketing? You put the water,
No. What I do,
so for them to drink more.
well, you want them to drink the day of shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't withhold feed. I feed them early in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then before I ship them, because I want them to drink, I give them light, just candy mix. Because those small grains are going to get stuck in their throat, and they're going to want to drink. They're going to want to wash it down.
Okay.
The little flax seeds, all those seeds are going to get stuck in the throat.
For them to drink. Okay.
And so the first thing they're going to want to do after they eat the little seeds, they're going to want to go back to the water. That's something nobody will tell you.
There you go.
No BS.
I thought peanut.
Yeah, no. Well, listen, you
So the small ones. Okay.
give them small feed.
Before basketing.
Yeah, they're gonna still fly okay, and they're still gonna be hungry, but at least you got your best chance to get them to drink. I tried years ago syringing the birds, filling them full of water.
Oh yeah.
It didn't work. They don't digest right. They throw up on the truck, and I'm not a big fan of that. Here in Southern California, our races are hot.
Yeah.
They're very hot. So the birds can't be
Dehydrated.
They can't be dehydrated. And you can always tell if you pick a bird up and look at it underneath whether it's dehydrated or not
How can you tell
by
them?
the keel. You just look at the keel. If you see little red bubbles floating around,
Mm-hmm.
the bird's ready. If you see, it's any color other than pink, or too tight,
Mm-hmm.
or no suppleness to it, they don't have enough water in their muscles.
Mm-hmm.
So at least that's what I believe. Everybody has their own way of doing things. I mean, maybe most people that watch this video will think he's crazy.
Or he's lying.
They can think I'm lying, and maybe they should just try what I tell them and see what they think.
But your birds don't get heavy. That's the thing. I'm wondering.
Well, I'll show you what the breeders are eating right now in their food can. It's 17% leach feed, and the reason it's 17% is it's full of protein, and they're molting right now, so they need the peas. This is the time of the year to not give them barley and cut them back. This is the time you want them to grow healthy feathers at the expense of being fat. I mean, Some pigeons are naturally big boned, they have heavy muscles, so they're going to weigh more. It doesn't mean they're fat. You know, it doesn't mean they're fat. I mean, if pigeons are racing week in and week out, if I'm sending them 100, 200, training them 50 miles, they're never going to be fat. You know, they're not going to be fat. I don't care what you feed them. You know, if you go out and you run every day 10, 15, 20 miles, you can come home and eat all the fattening food you want. You ain't going to be fat.
All right. So let's go on to details. So starting race, Monday, do you train your birds or loft fly or rest?
Well, are you asking me if they come home from a race already?
No, before the race starts. You know.
If they have, your question is, have they raced the week before?
Yeah, they did. Okay.
So
the arrival is Monday. Okay.
The arrival is Sunday.
Sunday.
Okay, so Monday I loft fly them.
Monday you loft fly.
Yeah, and I told you that's to burn off the lactose.
Okay.
To burn, you know, I want them. There's two reasons I loft fly them. One is to home them back in case they're late and they were lost.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important that you home them back in and get them used to circling around and coming in. So yeah, loft flying is important the next day.
Monday. All right. Tuesday.
It just depends. If I think they need another day of loft flying, I'll let them out. If I don't like the way they loft flew the day before, I'll loft fly them again. If they had a hard race, I'll leave them in and just let them rest.
Tuesday, that's Tuesday.
Wednesday, same thing.
Okay.
Same thing.
Thursday.
Thursday, they go on a toss.
How many miles?
Anywhere between 30 and 45.
30 and 40.
I mean, on this course, between 30 and 45.
Okay. That's Thursday.
Yeah, Friday they stay in.
Friday they rest.
Saturday I ship them. They rest also.
Okay, so just one day of training. Okay.
Now again, that's not a hard, fast rule. Everything I'm giving you is subject to, you know, each week is different.
Yeah.
You have to be flexible. You have to know this week I may need an extra toss. Next week I may need to give different grain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you learn to shuck and jive, so to speak, week in and week out. Every week is a new challenge with different birds. Nothing is hard and fast. I'm giving you the basics of what I do, but that doesn't mean that one week I won't do something different.
Okay, so it changes.
Definitely changes. I've had weeks where before a big race, I took them every day 20 miles. Every day that week. And won the race.
Every day, huh?
Okay. Every day. Why? That should be your next question. Because I didn't like the way they were acting when they came home.
Okay.
So you have to understand, you can lose the race at the house. Many races are lost on the property. If the birds aren't dialed in, you can lose the race. I don't starve my birds. So when they come home, they like to keep flying. They got more fly in them. If they're in form, they want to fly. If a hawk's in the area, they want to fly. So I want them dialed in. I want them straight. Come in, come home. Come in, come home. And if I don't think they're dialed in, I'll train them every day until I get them dialed in. So, again, the point I'm trying to make is there's a way of doing things. You got to be able to be flexible. You have to change. You have to be able to read the room, so to speak. You know, if it's going to be a headwind day, I might do something different. It's going to be a tailwind day, I might do something different. You have to know
the weather too.
You have to really know the weather. Weather is really important. You have to know days in advance.
The weather here or the weather on the way here? Is that
the weather on the way here doesn't matter to me. All the birds are going up the same.
Yeah.
I can't change that. What matters is the weather here.
Okay.
What's it going to be like? What if I can't train on Thursday because it's raining?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's too windy? This is a very windy area. and I can't train on Thursday. I got to know that on Monday. I have to think ahead, you know.
So you got to train in advance.
That's or either Wednesday or Friday.
Okay.
So Thursday isn't a hard rule. It's what I like.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be Wednesday. The birds will tell you. Today we need to do this. You know, tomorrow we need to do that. Again, it's you're the manager. Learn your team. Learn what's best for them and what it takes to win the race. I mean,
that makes sense.
And that goes for guys who've been doing this 30 years, 20 years. You know, learn to read the course, read the weather, be involved. I mean, I watched your video with Bruno. You know, I watch Frank McLaughlin's video. I watch every pigeon video I can watch because I always like to see what everybody else does. Mm-hmm. And usually the smartest guys are the guys that win. I've learned that a long time ago. The guys who can figure things out for themselves, have an analytical mind, are the guys who do the best in this sport. It's just common knowledge. Even the guys in Europe, you know, you sit and talk to them. Some of them, the smartest guy in the room. They didn't win all these races and become a world champion because they're stupid. You know, They figured things out. You know, they leave no stone unturned. They know the guy who makes the least mistakes wins the race.
All right, Carl. So, we're done with that. So, who is your biggest competitor here in the Valley?
Of course it's Bruno. I mean...
Hey, Bruno.
You know, listen, Bruno's a great pigeon flyer. He's a very smart guy.
You guys go neck to neck. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty much, at least in young birds.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, if I beat Bruno, I probably won the race. You know, I probably won the race if I beat him because he's always in the top 5. He's always in the top 5. And why is that? Because he pays attention to the details. I watched his video. He's very methodical about what he does, and what he does works for him. I'm not saying what I do is going to work for him, but what he does works for him. And that's all you need to do. I like to take the shortcuts. I like to take the easy route. Bruno spends all day in his yard. I mean, he's one with the pigeons. Yeah. That's how he conducts his life. And, you know, I'm different. I spend 15 minutes a day with the pigeons. If that. I go out and I feed them and I go right back in the house and I got a million other things to do. Yeah. I don't handle my pigeons every single day. I'm not obsessed with what I have and looking at them all the time. And I don't begrudge anybody for doing that. I mean, more power to them. But I like other things in life. I like going to ball games. I like spending time with my kids. I have a full-time job. I like making money. The pigeons to me are a hobby. And I want to keep it that way. I don't want them to be an obsession. So everybody's different. And I don't begrudge Bruno. He's a great champion. He's a good friend of mine. We both grew up talking about pigeons. I could call him and ask for a favor. He could call me, borrow any pigeon he wants.
That relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I have the utmost respect for a guy like him that puts in the effort that he puts in, and I mean that. I mean, he made me a better pigeon flyer. I have to say that. I became better because I had to beat Bruno, and also Kurt. Kurt is a great old bird flyer. Kurt's a very good pigeon guy in our club. And we have a lot of guys. It's not to say the other guys aren't good either. Mm-hmm. It's, anybody in the FEC can win any week. And, I hope that the guys who watch this video make it harder on me to win.
There you go. Next year, are you coming back?
I don't know. I mean, my future is kind of up in the air right now. I'm planning on flying old birds because I have too many of them.
This year? I mean,
next year.
Next
March.
year.
Yeah, this year I'm not flying at all. So, yeah, next year I'm planning on flying old birds. I probably have, a good old bird team.
Okay.
And I'm not flying young birds, so I have all these extra birds to carry over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always shake Bruno's hand when he wins. He shakes my hand. That's the way I was raised, in the pigeon sport. And yeah, every club, guys talk behind other guys' back, and they won because of this, or they won because of that. And I think that's the worst thing that can happen to a pigeon club. I mean, I'm against drug testing in pigeons, and now that's controversial too.
Did you guys do that? You guys do that?
We do it on specific races. We'll do it. I'm against all that because I think it creates animosity in a club. I think it makes people suspicious of other people. It makes people think, you're hiding something. I believe in just listen. If you want to drug your pigeons, have at it because you won't beat me. That's just the way I look at it. I believe athletes perform the best when they're in condition, and that only comes from natural conditioning. It doesn't come from chemicals. I think you're going to do more harm. So if guys want to use chemicals, let them use them. In the long run, they're going to hurt their birds. I mean, you can make birds sterile giving them Baytril. Things like that. I mean, that's a drug that, if you value your breeders, don't ever give them that because next year you'll have shitty babies or they won't come out right. So little things like that you learn over the years. And I don't begrudge Bruno, Kurt, anybody for doing what they do. They have their methods. I have mine.
But you love competition.
This young man wants to learn how to get better. It's my obligation, I feel, to help him and anybody else who wants to get better.
There you go. All right.
So ask any question you want. I have no secrets.
All right. Now we're going to check out Carl Loizzi's feed. What he feed his birds.
Come on, I'll show you.
Let's go.
Feed. You're going to see amazing feed.
No Versalaga, no expensive feeds.
I'll take you into my feeding room.
All
My
right.
secret feeding room. Remember what I told you. Feeding is not what it's cracked up to be. Okay, so let's go in here.
All right. Yeah, we want to check out your...
These are my young birds now. They're unnatural. They're just molting naturally.
Okay.
These are the ones I bred this year that I'll fly as old birds.
All right.
So, I feed them once a day by tray. Now you see my grit? It's all over the floor, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Soon to be old bird team.
Well, these are young birds.
You're gonna fly them old birds.
I'm going to fly them as old birds. I told you I have box perches.
Check out the droppings.
These are birds that have never been medicated or anything. They've been boxed.
All right.
So these are my secret weapon.
Secret weapon, huh?
See, I can control the volume of air in and out.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it when I open these up.
Yeah.
Now, see the ventilation in here? If it's cold or damp,
This is the turbine.
yeah, there's the turbines. I'll cover this up. Now, what is this? Low ceiling.
Uh-huh.
Air comes in through the bottom, goes out here. Doesn't touch the birds on the box perches.
Yeah?
Okay, it just takes the air and filters it out. This is 20 years of messing with this thing. Air goes out through the top, air goes out through the top, it comes in through the bottom.
Ventilation there.
And
The wind goes here, goes up here. There's no wind here By the purchase. Yeah.
No wind on the purchase.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something else. See, I wear my finger over this, right?
Yeah.
There's no dust.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's maybe a tad, but, you know, the lofts have been here for 30 years. I mean,
Yeah.
look, there's no dust.
Is that the ventilation that does it?
Yeah, takes the dust right out.
Okay.
Takes the dust right out. This is a great loft. I mean, this is a winning loft.
Winning
Look how
off.
happy. Look at how happy they are. See? You guys are happy, right? You're lucky to be here.
The 5-star
The
hotel.
future champions.
The future champion.
There they are. So let me show you what the future champions eat.
Alright.
Okay? So I'll show you the main feed first. This is my clocking room. This is very expensive electrolytes. $6 a bottle.
That's what you use.
That's what I use. And if you read the ingredients,
Uh-huh.
it's the same as the $30 bottle stuff. So listen, you can do it either way. I mean, some of the expensive stuff has benefits to
Uh-huh.
it, but I find that this works for me.
Alright.
Okay, so pink minerals, Van Heat, bath salt, grape sugar.
Grape sugar.
Yeah, that's why I put that in the water when they come home from a race
Okay.
with the electrolytes.
They drink that?
Yeah, so there's nothing here. It's just cinnamon.
There you go. Can I see that cinnamon?
I put cinnamon on the food.
Oh, okay.
See, here's more cinnamon.
They love that?
No, they don't like it, but I don't care. They eat
What's
it
that
anyway.
do?
Here's Winsmore vitamins. They get this. This is the old vitamin I was telling you about that I do give them.
Winsmore?
You get that
Okay.
you can get that at Jed's.
What does that cinnamon do, Carl?
Cinnamon purifies the blood. It's good for people too. You should eat as much cinnamon as you can.
Okay.
You know. Listen, I'm all about personal health
Yeah.
and pigeons' health.
Uh-huh.
If it's good for me, it's good for them. So that's it. This is just like my supplements.
Yep.
I have this green.
You don't give them ideal pills?
No.
No.
I don't have any idea. No. No ideal pills. Here's the feed. This is the candy mix I was telling you about that I give them. You can get this from Jed. See, it's
The
called
candy mix.
Pigeon candy treat.
Okay. So when do you give this?
I give this a lot.
A lot?
A lot. Whenever I want them to, you know, when they're coming home from a toss, when they come home from a race, they always get candy treat. That's why they love me.
Mmm.
So here's...
Not on loft flying, right? Not when you
No.
loft fly. Okay.
So here it is. There's the secret.
It's normal.
What is that? That's 17% leach feed.
17%.
Super Race, it's called.
All they can eat.
Best feed on the market. All they can eat. It's clean. It's got the right grains. Can't go wrong with this shit.
This is Super Race?
Super Race.
17.
Yeah, large corn. Now, you can get this in 14%, and I give that to my fancy birds.
Okay.
It's got, you know, it's a little cheaper. It's got less. They're not racing.
Uh-huh.
So the breeders get this. Everybody gets this 365 days a year.
All they can eat.
Well, I don't like to leave feed. When I say all they can eat, what I mean is until they're full. But
Yeah.
if they leave feed in a tray, I'll take it out.
Yeah.
I won't leave it overnight for mice and rats and all that. It's not like I fill the feeders up and just let them gorge themselves all day long. I know that if I got 50 pigeons, I need to measure 50 ounces of feed. So, you know, maybe they get this much every day. I just know instinctively how much is enough for them.
Okay.
Pigeons get 1 ounce of feed a day.
Okay.
You can't go wrong. They won't get fat.
So the breeders get that too?
Oh, so what do I want to show you? I wanted to show you the, here. Here's my refrigerator. I got
Flax oil,
hemp,
hemp,
red cell, vitamin B, never been opened. I think it's been in there for 3 years. There's dust on it. I buy shit and then I don't even use it. You know, it's like, why bother?
Alright.
That's it. I mean, here's an old lemon juice. This thing's been in there for 3 years too. Here's more Winsmore, see? So.
No barley here, guys.
Okay, so I want you to look for barley on the property. Come and look for
Alright.
it. So I'll show you. You saw the feed. I'll show you my feed room.
Your feed room?
Yeah, well, where I store the feed.
Okay.
The reason I'm showing you this, you're the first one to ever see it too, by the way. Because there's a big secret here.
Oh.
There it is.
That's for your flyers.
That's for everything. What is that?
It's a super race. 17%.
Do you see any other feeding? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there is a bag of safflower here that's never been opened.
Safflower. It's all you need.
That's it. There's nothing else in here, right?
Yeah.
There's grit.
This is what you use. Grit and redstone.
Yeah, that's the best grit. Combination grit.
You don't. No all-in-one here.
No all-in-one. If you can find any, let me know.
And this one?
Bath salt.
What is that?
That's pigeon grit from Leach. That's their version of grit.
You use that too?
Yeah, I mixed them together.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big believer in grit, like just all different kinds and all different minerals in it. I love grit. I probably, if the birds could live on grit, I would just give them that.
Right.
So, you know, I just like messing with the grit.
All right.
So that's it. I mean.
So you breed here? Like outside
yeah.
or?
You want to look at the breeder mix?
The breeder mix.
Now, I want you to see what the breeders get to have that beautiful feather and that beautiful shine. Here.
So it's not the bat salt? Let's make them shine?
No. What are they getting?
The same.
That's right. That's why I wanted you to see it. Everything gets the same feed all year round.
There you go, guys. That's Carl Loizzi's secret.
See, everybody wants to pretend that they're so smart, and I did it. I'm light this, I'm heavy this, I know how to, I'm going to starve them, I'm going to give them fats, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. You talk to the best lofts in Europe, they get the same feed 365 days a year.
Oh, okay.
And again, I'm not putting anybody down.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you're winning, more power to you. You do it any way you want. I just want to make it easy for me. And I found that it can't be any easier. I mean, do those birds look like they're fat?
No.
They look shiny, they look healthy, their waddles are white.
Yep.
Okay, no medicine. No. They've never had, some of these never had medicine. And when they're molted and come back in a month from now, they'll be gorgeous. You know, they need a little more time to molt out because I was breeding them late this year. But, I mean, look at them. They're as healthy as can be. And all they get is just that feed and water and grit.
So, Carl, final question. So, if you have one tip for a newbie like me, like a starter, what's that going to be?
Boy, we covered a lot of ground today.
Yep, but one tip.
I think it goes back to the original thing I said to you. Understand the animal, what you're dealing with, how they think, how they act, what they like. Spend a lot of time in the loft. What makes them tick? It isn't much. I mean, it isn't much. It doesn't take much to understand why they hurt themselves. Why do they want to fly 500 miles to come home to you? If you can answer that question, you found the secret to racing pigeons.
There you go. The pigeons gotta love you. Gotta love their home.
That's right. They gotta love what you provide for them in life.
All right.
It's just like, it's like anything. It's like a woman. Why do they marry you? Right? Because you provide for them. You're a good provider. You make them comfortable. You make them happy. Well, the birds are no different. You know, they want a safe environment. They want clean food. They want you to be their friend. They want to make, they'll freaking perform for you. I got to tell you, these are the most amazing creatures on the planet, in my opinion. They are amazing creatures. They will hurt themselves to come home to a shoebox.
They'll die for you.
People don't understand, and that's why all of us are pigeon crazy, how amazing the racing pigeon actually is. They're athletes, they're parents, they provide for their young. All they want is a little simple life, clean food, clean water, clean house, and that's the way everybody should live. That's my lesson in life.
All right, thanks, Carl. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Do you have any shout-outs?
Shout-outs?
Yeah. Special mentions?
Yeah, my shout-out is to you, Follow, for taking the time to make a video to help future flyers. We need more people in the sport like you to get the word out there, to come and visit people that have been doing it for years like me, like Bruno, like Kurt, Bob Wheatley, local guys in this area, guys outside of the area. It's very important that everybody hears what everybody else does and then decide for themselves what's right for them.
All right.
How to make pigeons fit into your life. Everybody's different and everybody can learn, but what you're doing is very good for the sport. And I got to tell you, it's the first video I've ever made. And I did it because I like what you're doing.
Yeah, I feel special, Carl.
And you should. You should. It's a very good thing that you do this, not just with me, with as many good flyers as you can, and get the word out there so that this sport doesn't die with us old guys.
Yep.
It needs to go on, and it's going to go on through YouTube. It's going to go on through One Loft Racing. Club racing is slowly dying, and there's a lot of reasons for that, which we won't get into now.
Yep.
But in order to save the sport, more people have to see it, and what you're doing is the right thing. So you got my shout out.
All right. Thanks, Carl.